Come one, come all, and welcome to Tea Time with T-Cross.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another edition of Tea Time with T-Cross. The fucking goddamn tripod that I use for the video, it broke. The top part, there's like a screw that you tighten and loosen so that the camera doesn't tilt forward or backwards. That part broke, so it's kind of just balancing right now. So I'm hoping that over the next hour and a half, however long I ramble on for, I hope it stays steady and doesn't tilt forward or backwards and fucking fuck up the whole video. So I fiddled around. If you're watching, I fiddled around with the camera settings today to try to, because it looked like my last couple, I guess all my videos seemed too bright. So I kind of fucked around with the settings to try to make my forehead and my face not look so shiny and just the room look like oversaturated with light. Because the lighting in this room is dog shit, so I always felt like it looked bad. So if it looks dark today on the video, please someone let me know so that I can fiddle around with it more. I'll see what I think of it when I edit the video, but I want your guys' feedback to see how it looks. So let's start with my email and sponsors first. Never really talk about this much, but my email, if you want to send in any questions or advice or just tell me to fuck off, it's teatimewithtcross@gmail.com. The name of the podcast @gmail.com, and I have a link in my descriptions of the YouTube video and the iTunes and the SoundCloud. It goes on all that. It's my link tree. Takes you a link to my YouTube page and to my various sponsors. I got the freeze sleeve, that thing that you put in the freezer. You slide it on your arm or your leg, your foot, or any part of your body that it can fit on. They have different sizes so that you can put it higher up on your leg and whatnot. And it's the greatest way that I've ever been able to ice any part of my body. Super helpful. So get one of those. Get my favorite sponsor. Not to play favorites, but Kratom. I have not had a fucking anxiety attack since I started drinking this on a daily basis. It's the greatest thing that I've ever come across. So thank you to Big Mike for suggesting it to me. Thank you. And everybody knows what CBD is. CBDMD. I got a clothing website in there too that I haven't bought anything from there, but they reached out to me about making me an affiliate, so I said sure, and you can check that out as well. And those little cool superhero and comic book figures that I have in my room, I have a sponsor from them as well called Iron Studios. They make some awesome shit. They just came out with a whole Lord of the Rings series. They got Gollum, they got Legolas, Gimli, Frodo, all that stuff ready for pre-order. So I'm looking forward to getting my Legolas whenever that ships. So use those websites. Help me make some money off of this. All right, so let's get right into the politics. First, excuse me. Seems like everybody really enjoys me talking shit about the customers and the restaurants that I deal with for Uber. I started an Instagram page called Uber Nightmares, so go follow that, Uber_Nightmares. Follow my personal page, T-Cross the Boss, all that good stuff. Jesus, excuse me. And so I'm not going to start the show with that anymore because I feel like people are just going to watch the beginning and not watch the rest. So I'm going to put it at a random spot in the video so that if you want to hear it, you're going to have to listen to the rest of my bullshit. Or just follow me on Instagram because I started posting little clips on there of little stories that I thought was funny. So I'm going to keep doing that because my listens went through the roof since I started doing that. My videos on Instagram are getting, a couple hundred views. And then, the first day that I posted clips on Instagram and Facebook, my podcast itself had, 100 views in that first 24 hours, or 84, 94, whatever the fucking number was, but it was a lot. So I'm going to keep doing that. And if you like the show, please, subscribe, all that stuff, like, share, leave a review, rate it on iTunes so that I can, get my name out there a bit more. So thank you guys to that. So let's get the politics out of the way. Chuck Schumer, you Kermit the Frog looking motherfucker, you and the rest of these fucking Democrats ran on the whole idea that you have a plan to fix COVID. You have, we're going to give you the rest of your $2,000 stimulus check, which means we're going to get $1,400. The vaccine distribution has been entirely fucked up, at least here in New Jersey. It's fucking horrific. You can't get a fucking appointment. Appointments are getting canceled because there's not the right amount. So to Chuck Schumer and to Nancy Pelosi and to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, all of you, from the deepest part of my heart, sincerely, go fuck yourself. You dog shit human beings. Unfucking believable. I want my $1,400. Chuck Schumer, Senate Majority Leader, you've been getting paid about $4,000 a week. Per week, not including your illegal businesses, whatever the fuck you're doing on the back end, you fucking slime ball. You owe me $1,400. You've been getting paid $3,500 to $4,000 per week for the last year throughout COVID. And how much money the government has given me and other people in my situation that not that I need help, because I'm doing okay, but people that need help. You guys have been bickering back and forth for a fucking year about how much money they deserve, when they're going to get it. You've given us collectively $1,800 in 11 months. And you ran on the idea that if elected, if, the tide switches from red to blue, from right to left, that you would be giving us our $1,400 checks. It's been about a month. The talks have completely gone away. I want my $1,400. You fucking sleazeball. All of you. Terrible, fucking, corrupted human beings. Fuck each and every one of you. Pay me my money so that I can fucking get better equipment for my podcast. And that other people can do whatever they need. You've been getting paid every week, and you've been bickering back and forth about how much money we deserve and when if and when we can get it. So fuck you guys. Jesus Christ. God, I did it again. Sorry. Fucking stirring my kratom right in the microphone. I'll have to edit that out. I'm sorry, guys. What time was that? So I know where to go. About the 8-minute mark. Okay. So Donald Trump was acquitted again. And people were shocked. Nothing that happens where these cronies and these fucking criminals do stuff to help each other but not us, it doesn't surprise me anymore. Joe Biden, one of his policies that he talked about was, canceling student loan debt. And a bill to cancel student loan debt came across his desk, which he did not sign. Not surprised. Not fucking surprised. Donald Trump got acquitted. Not surprised. People are surprised by this shit. I don't understand, with how political the world has been, so people are paying closer attention, how you could be surprised by this kind of shit anymore. They were 10 votes short on the amount of votes they needed to get an impeachment. You need 2/3 vote, which I believe the number was 67 votes they needed in the Senate, and they got 57. They got 7 Republicans to vote for impeachment. Those are Richard Burr, Bill Cassidy, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Mitt Romney, Ben Sasse, and Pat Tomey. I don't know how to pronounce those names. The only person in that group that I've heard of is Mitt Romney, so can't really make too many comments about all these people, and I don't really know much about Mitt Romney. I just know that he ran for president. It's the only reason I know him. But not turtleneck Mitch McConnell there. guy who I wrote on Facebook that I was going to piss in his shoes at his house. That turkey neck, molasses mouth, cock-sucking motherfucking piece of shit gave this whole speech at the trial on the Senate floor about how Donald Trump is morally... what were the words he used? Was practically and morally responsible for what happened on January 6th. But then he voted to acquit. He didn't... Not that his vote really mattered all that much. They needed 10 more. He gave this whole speech about how Donald Trump was responsible for it and then voted to acquit him. I mean, you fucking spineless, mouth-breathing cocksucker. Speaking of January 6th, let's discuss the MyPillow guy. That guy is a real treasure. So if you don't know who the MyPillow guy is, I mean, just look him up. I would imagine you've seen the commercial. He created a super cool pillow, and now he believes in QAnon. He made some... I want to get the content accurate. He's also been banned from Twitter. Fuck, I want to find the MyPillow guy Antifa sluts. So he essentially said that everybody that stormed the Capitol was drugged by Antifa. Oh my god, this guy is something else. I want to get the quote right. The rioters were hypnotized by Antifa temptresses who hid psychoactive drugs in their vaginas. If you look at the video, many of the rioters had crazed looks in their eyes. Oh, man. This world... I don't even know how to respond to that. That's what kind of world we're living in these days. That's the kind of craziness that the world has morphed everybody into believing this type of shit. So it's crazy. However, Rush Limbaugh died today. And I mean, wasn't a super great progressive human being, but I mean, people are literally celebrating his death, which is strange to me, because when you do shit like that, when you celebrate the death of a guy like that, I mean, you can celebrate it, but do it privately, like publicly on Facebook, showing that you are happy about the death of anyone, of a guy who just has, different opinions than you or whatever the fuck. Huge scumbag. I did not love the guy, but I'm not like, God, I'm so happy that fucking guy's dead. I really couldn't even tell you anything bad that he said. I mean, I'm sure he said... I saw something earlier that, had a whole bunch of his quotes, and none of them were super great. But, I mean, the left likes to act like they are the party of acceptance and the party of love and what's the other word I'm looking for? Let's just say that, acceptance and love. But when something bad or negative happens to somebody they disagree with, instead of just shutting the fuck up and letting that person get the karma that they deserved, they have to celebrate it and announce how happy they are that this person that they don't like, it has some misfortune in their life. And how is that any different than them doing the same thing to you? Like, with the idea of of gay marriage being banned. If that were to happen again, people on the right would celebrate it because they hate gays and, the misfortune of the gay, they're celebrating it so that when something negative happens to somebody on the other side and you guys celebrate it, it's the same concept. You can be happy about it, but just keep it to yourself. Just shut the fuck up. And, I get it. I've done it in the past. A couple years ago, I did an entire podcast episode about how I was excited that I'm not. You guys can go search yourself, but I did a whole episode about how I was excited that a politician that I fucking hated died, and that was fucked up of me. I should not have done that. Celebrating the death of another human being, it makes you a douchebag. It doesn't make you edgy. It doesn't make you a good person because you're excited that a bad person died. Just shut the fuck up. Drink a beer or do whatever the fuck you want, but excuse me, privately, but publicly, shut the fuck up. So Texas is out of control, apparently, with the weather. I don't know how, compared to, Northeast winters and whatnot, how bad it really is. But they never get snow, so they're kind of totally unprepared and fucked. But, people in Texas I've seen online are literally blaming what's happening on Joe Biden. Like, I saw this one comment. Let's see if I think I screenshotted it. Yeah, this woman wrote on, a woman and child were found dead from carbon monoxide poisoning in Texas because they sat in their car inside the garage because, there was power outage, so they didn't have heat, so they sat in their car to get some heat, and then they suffocated themselves. And this woman commented, "Prayers to the family. How would Joe like it if it was his family? He is making a mess out of this country. People are dying. So very sad. God bless them." For the last 4 years, we blamed Donald Trump for everything, but I don't believe we ever blamed him for the weather. You gotta know, even if you've never experienced snow or the cold before, you gotta know you can't sit in a car inside. You have to know that. Come on. And then blaming the president for that, and pointing out that people are dying. 300,000 people died last year of a virus in this country. And Donald Trump was like, "Yeah, you guys figure it out. I don't fucking know. Let all the governors, you decide what to do. I don't know." Strange world. But, I think that just shows you that we are all more alike than different. We're just two sides of the same coin. We all act the exact same way towards each other. We all have the same hypocrisies, different ideologies. Same hypocrisies, different ideologies. And that brings me to the biggest news story of the week, Gina Carano. Those of you happy about what happened to Gina Carano, were angry with what happened to Colin Kaepernick. And those of you that are angry about what happened to Gina Carano were happy about what happened to Colin Kaepernick. Let's oversimplify this situation here, okay? Someone expressed a personal belief, right? Their boss didn't like it, told them to stop. They did not stop. They were then fired. It's the exact same situation in both instances, and all of you are calling out the other side's hypocrisy. And in both instances, you use the terms free speech. Now let's dissect that for a second. None of you are for free speech. None of you. Not a single one. You all scream about someone's right to free speech until that speech is something you disagree with. And then you're calling for the end of someone's job and employment, and in some instances, their life. I've seen some comments. The same people screaming free speech for Gina Carano's situation will comment on a liberal celebrity's Black Lives Matter post and tell them to die. That is the exact opposite of why free speech was originally invented. To protect unpopular speech. I discussed this already. It was literally invented to protect speech that you don't agree with. And not one of you have expressed that for somebody that you disagree with. Did it again? What the fuck? I'm sorry, guys. I'm an idiot. And I mean, the people are defending Gina Carano like she's that crazy aunt that gets way too drunk at the Christmas party, but she's super fun and she's crazy, but you love her to death, so you gotta defend her. She's a television actress. Shut the fuck up. Get over it, all right? And those of you claiming she's being silenced, and that conservatives are being silenced, conservatives are literally the loudest and most obnoxious group of people in this country today. And I don't even think there's a close second. She's still free to say whatever the fuck she wants. She's gotten more press this week than the last 2 years. Guarantee she's gotten more interview requests this week than ever before. I guarantee it. And again, freedom of speech does not equal freedom of consequences. If your boss tells you to do something and you don't do it, you will eventually be fired. Hey, go stock those shelves over there. Nope. This is a free country and I don't feel like doing that. Go fuck yourself. You'll get fired. You can't go around doing and saying whatever the fuck you want if you are misrepresenting the company you work for. It's really that simple. Same exact concept with Colin Kaepernick. Whether you agreed or disagreed with what he did or had to say, the person he worked for told him to stop doing what he was doing. He did not stop, and then he was fired. It's the same exact situation. So now let's get into exactly what she said and then discuss that. So I have the picture saved here, what she posted. So she posted, Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children. Excuse me. Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views? Comparing the treatment of Jews in Nazi Germany to any political party or any political beliefs in America is beyond asinine. It's beyond absurd. There is no sliver of truth in that comparison at all. And I'm fucking sick of hearing Holocaust and Nazi comparisons from America to Nazi Germany. I'm fucking sick of it. I'm sick of it on all sides. Donald Trump is not Hitler. Conservatives are not Nazis. Conservatives are not treated like Jews. Liberals are not Nazis, and liberals are not treated like Jews. The only Nazis around here are the ones with swastikas tattooed on them, or they're just openly admitting that they're a Nazi. Paul Miller. I'm so sick of the Holocaust comparisons. I think it's absolutely ridiculous on all ends, the left and the right. And past tweets resurface. I think that's why a lot of people are upset about the Gina Carano thing, because Pedro Pascal, the guy who plays the Mandalorian in the same television show that Gina Carano was working for, he made a Holocaust comparison a couple years ago where he posted a picture of the Mexicans at the southern border in cages, the children, and the Jewish children behind the fences in a death camp in Nazi Germany. Which, again, that comparison is asinine for a couple reasons. One, Mexicans are not being gathered up in America for the sole purpose of being murdered and tortured and thrown into a death chamber. Two, no Jews in Nazi Germany that lived outside of Germany were trying to sneak into Germany to have a better life. It's just not the way it is. Mexicans, regardless of how they're treated at the border, are still trying to sneak in here to have a better life. And three, Democrats love to bring up the kids in the cages debate, and it drives me fucking crazy for a couple reasons. Because Obama deported more Mexicans than any president in the last 100 years combined. By far, not even close. Fuck Barack Obama. And yeah, Obama started that whole thing, the kids in the cages. That was Obama's doing. And Biden's doing. That was their country. And the comparison between what Pedro did and what Gina did. Pedro had one tweet several years ago. Gina Carano has had several tweets over the last several years and has been warned about it, has been told to apologize. She's always refused to apologize. She's been given a pretty fucking long leash. And eventually that leash snapped and she was let go. It's absolutely her own fault. If Pedro was asked to apologize for a tweet that he made several years ago, guaranteed, no questions asked, he would apologize for it. And then they would move on. Guaranteed. That's how having a job works. You do what your boss tells you to do, and if you don't, enough strikes against your record, you're going to get fucking fired. I mean, that's what having a job is, you know? And I feel weird. So I'm looking at my laptop here because, I normally just write talking points. But for these points, I wrote several sentences, so I'm just making sure I'm not missing all the points that I wanted to get on here. So forgive me for reading off a laptop here. So apparently, a number of Holocaust survivors have made comparisons of America over the last 4 years to Nazi Germany. Who the fuck am I, compared to them, to make any sort of comment on what happened in Nazi Germany versus what's happening today? But from my blinded perspective, I just think it's asinine. Especially when Gina compares being a conservative or a liberal to a Jew. It's fucking crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And can we all, please, collectively, liberal, conservative, left, right, tall, short, skinny, fat, blue, purple, everybody, white, black, everybody, please, can we stop making Nazi Germany comparisons? They're getting old, and I don't think they're true. I think they're fucking crazy. Enough. I've had enough. It's getting old. Enough. No more Holocaust. No more Nazi. This is fucking 2021 America. Stop. Enough. So let's move on. Governor Cuomo. He lied about the death count in the New York nursing homes. And from what I read, the reports, it's being reported that the death count and the death rate in the nursing homes is 50% worse than had previously been reported. And what had previously been reported was horrific already. This country sucks. Our leaders suck. I want out of here. I'm done. It's getting fucking too crazy. It's not getting Nazi Germany crazy, but it's getting fucking crazy. I'm over it. New Zealand is looking better day by day. I looked at flights to New Zealand the other day just because I wanted eventually just visit. See what it's actually like there. Go there, stay there for like 2 weeks. It's like a 26-hour travel to get from Newark Airport to Auckland, New Zealand. And plane tickets are like fucking $2,500. So I guess I'm not going to New Zealand anytime soon, but it's definitely appealing. So, did you guys see that murder video from the snow shoveling dispute? Yes, you heard that correctly. Snow shoveling dispute. These neighbors, somewhere in Pennsylvania, I think it was, got into an argument about removing snow from someone's driveway. I don't remember exactly how it started, but like either someone was snoveling snow into the road or throwing it into the neighbor's yard, or they were just plowing the snow, or the snowblower, they were snow blowing it into the street, and the neighbor got pissed off, and then the husband and wife were like telling this guy like, hey, go fuck yourself, buddy, fuck you, get the fuck out of here, yelling at him, flipping him off, calling him a bitch, all this stuff. This guy goes into his house, comes outside with a gun, as his neighbors, husband and wife, are in the middle of the street yelling at him. This guy points a gun at this husband and wife. And you know what this husband and wife did? They didn't fucking move. They looked the guy in the face and said, you won't shoot me, pussy. Guy opened fires. Shoots like 4 or 5 shots. Doesn't hit them at all. He was relatively close at this point, but I imagine he wasn't trying to hit them. He was trying to give them a warning shot like, hey, I'm serious here. Get the fuck away from me. And they were like, yeah, that's what I thought, bitch. The guy comes at you with a gun. You don't say, do it, pussy. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? So then the guy gets close, and he shoots the guy in the fucking throat. And then he starts running away, and, then he shoots the woman in the face. Point blank range, right in the face. And this woman was alive. She's like crawling around on the ground. And then these kids come into frame. They look like high school age kids, I guess. And then the woman was like, get the fuck out of here, call 911. So like these kids run out of frame. And then the guy that shot them goes into his house, grabs a different gun. I guess he ran out of bullets or he just wanted a bigger gun. He came out with like a fucking AR-15. Walks up to the woman in the street, points the gun directly in her face. After just shooting her in the face, and she's still alive, gets right in her face and says to her, you should have kept your fucking mouth shut, and then kills her. On the spot. He then goes into the neighbor's house, which I guess where the husband was. I guess he made it into the garage. He was out of frame. Kills that guy, and then apparently goes into his house and blew his own brains out. Over shoveling snow. This country is fucked. Britney Spears documentary. Did anybody see that? I mean, that whole situation is so fucked. I feel so bad for that girl. Can you imagine not being able to go anywhere without having 50, 60 cameras in your face, flashing pictures for a decade? I feel so fucking bad for that woman. And here's the thing about that documentary. Most people were immediately afterwards like, fuck Justin Timberlake. I mean, yeah, he definitely didn't help. But out of that whole documentary, what you got out of it was fuck Justin Timberlake? They broke up and he went on the radio and said, yeah, I fucked Britney Spears. Fuck Justin Timberlake? And then he came out and he made an apology, and everyone was like, oh, fuck you again. That wasn't a genuine apology just because the documentary came out. Well, what the fuck was he supposed to do there? The documentary comes out, kind of made him look like a dick. Is he supposed to just not apologize? I mean, he's kind of in a lose-lose situation there, right? If he doesn't apologize, he's an asshole. He does apologize, he's still an asshole. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, give the guy a fucking break. Out of that whole thing, I was, before I watched the documentary, I saw everybody like, fuck Justin Timberlake. I'm like, oh shit, he must have done much more than what I remember. He was talked about for like 7 minutes in an hour-and-a-half documentary, and everyone was fucking fuck Justin Timberlake. Misguided anger, I think. Fuck Britney Spears' dad. That piece of shit. I really can't wait for the day where he's no longer in control of her and she can go out and do an interview and talk about the last 12 years of her life, about what the fuck's going on, what happened. Interesting documentary. What a fucking life that girl had. I mean, some of these interviews that she was done as a kid, like she was singing on some TV show when she was like 8, and the host of the television show asked her if she had a boyfriend. What fucking kind of question is that for a kid? Especially on national television. I mean, I think that shit's so weird when you ask kids nowadays, like, ooh, do you have a boyfriend? Like, she's 9, bro. What the fuck is wrong with you? You really want to hear details of a 9-year-old's love interest? Why don't you ask her what cartoon she's watching, you fucking weirdo? But I hope she can get her freedom back. That whole thing, that whole situation is fucking crazy to me. But more crazy people, I kind of can't stand, but also am really intrigued and interested in the way people that play the lottery act. I mean, people that buy lottery tickets are worse than any drug addict I've ever seen. I mean, they'll walk into a 7-Eleven, try and cut the line because they need the lottery ticket right now. I've had several encounters where I'm waiting online at a 7-Eleven. Someone will walk in and just stand right in front of me. I'll be like, hey, yo, buddy, there's a line. And they're like, I'm just getting lottery tickets. I'm like, yeah, I'm just buying a drink. Either way, there's a fucking line. And then when they finally get the ticket, they'll just stand at the counter. Like, they don't even go sit in their car or wait outside. They stand right in the counter and do those scratch-offs. Right at the counter. And if there's only one cashier, you gotta wait. Because that fucking guy or girl is not moving. I mean, yesterday I saw a woman get a lottery ticket and at least got out of the way and did her scratch off on the front door. So I could pay, but I couldn't leave because she was in the way. She couldn't. The rest of the world did not exist to her. She's got to play her scratch offs while she's still in the fucking store, blocking everybody trying to get in or get out. These people need help. And they come in with like 80 fucking tickets, and the fucking guy scans all of them, gives her $8 back, and then she buys more. That's crazy. I mean, I like to gamble. I like to go to Atlantic City. I like to bet on sports. But, I mean, it doesn't run my fucking life. I lost all the money I had in my sports account pre-Super Bowl. And I haven't gotten... It hasn't even crossed my mind to get back until I just talked about it just now to even like, I can't wait till I get paid again. I can put more money into FanDuel. Ugh, like, fucking Christ. Speaking of, a couple weeks ago, I want to read this email. So a couple weeks ago, I discussed my interactions with DraftKings Sportsbook, trying to get in and bet on the Conor McGregor fight. Remember that? But I couldn't get in because I needed to upload documents and then whatever. So I hope I didn't delete the email. I got an email the other day. Yes, I still got it. So I tried to sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook originally January 9th. I sent countless emails leading up to the Conor McGregor fight because they had a new sign-up bonus. You sign up, you bet $1, Conor McGregor wins by first round knockout, you get $257. So I was trying to sign up for that bet because it seemed like that was a very high possibility at the time. Still can't get in, by the way. So this is an email I got yesterday. Mind you, I got this email February 16th. I first tried to sign up for this website, or the sportsbook, on January 9th. So it's been about 5 weeks. And it said, thanks for reaching out to us for account verification. We have received your documents and have verified your account. You are now eligible to use DraftKings Sportsbook. Thank you for your cooperation, as we know it can be a tedious process to get our users verified and up and running. If you need help with anything, please do not hesitate to reach out. And then I got another one. Thank you for your patience as you waited for us to reply. We're sorry things didn't go as planned with our recent promotion. To make up for that, your account has been credited with 50 DraftKings dollars. So they gave me 50 free dollars, which is cool, but I can't get into my account to use it. Look, I'll do it again. Try to log in right now. And this is what comes up. Will it focus or not? I don't know if that focused. I think it did. Can't see. Upload more documents. I mean, this fucking website is unreal. So I just responded, again, you're absolutely incorrect. Because this is like the third time they've told me your account is good to go. It's not. So a few weeks ago I talked about signing up to be an umpire, which I did, and I had my first training class this weekend. And apparently, me and my father don't know baseball as well as we thought. So it was like a class on Zoom, or on their website, Google Meet, whatever the fuck it was. So before the class started, they sent out a link to everybody in the chat and said, take this online quiz. And it was like, what, if this were to happen in a game, what would the call be? So I want to read the ones that I got wrong. And mind you, I came home that night because I did it at Karen's place that morning. So I came home that night and I did the same quiz with my father, and he got all of them wrong too. And he's looking at me like, who the fuck is running this class? So here's the question. Batter hits a fly ball to center field. The center fielder reaches up, catches the ball. Then he takes 3 steps, hits the outfield wall, and then proceeds to drop the ball. Is the batter safe or out? I think safe. He showed that he had clear possession of the ball. Batter... No, I clicked out. Outfielder showed he had clear possession of the ball. Batter's out. Apparently that's not correct. Because the rule, you need to establish that you have not just control of the ball, but control of your body. This guy literally said, I don't care if they catch the ball, run 100 steps straight into the wall, and then they drop it, batter is safe. Because he didn't show if he were to change direction, then it's out. If he were to try to transfer the ball to his hand, then he's out. But if he runs in a straight line 100 feet into the wall and drops it, then he's safe. That's new to me. As much as I love fighting and as much as I am obsessed with fighting and jiu-jitsu and all that stuff, or at least I thought until last week, there is no other sport that I know. There is no sport that I know better than baseball. I played it the longest. It was my obsession for the first 20 years of my life. That's crazy. Here's another one. Batter hits a ground ball to the shortstop, who then throws the ball to the first baseman. The first baseman juggles the ball. It rolls up his arm, and he clamps it to his body by his elbow before the runner gets to first base. Safe or out? I said out. He's got control of the ball. Apparently, that rule doesn't apply at first base. Apparently at first base, you need to have the ball in your glove or in your bare hand. But at any other base, when there's a force play, you can trap it. First base, nope. Don't know where they're getting it. It's like they're making these fucking rules up as we go. Bases loaded, infield drawn in. Batter hits a ball past the first and second baseman, runner on first while attempting to reach second base. The runner is hit by the ball and it ends up in right field. I said you call time. Interference on the runner is out. He gets hit by the ball. Apparently, if the runner is behind the infield, he can get hit by the ball. News to me. Batter hits a ground ball to the second baseman. While trying to field the ball on the baseline, the runner runs into him and prevents him from fielding the ball. I thought, dead ball, runner's out, and that's it. Apparently that's a fucking automatic double play. Apparently I don't know baseball as well as I thought. Fucking Christ. So let's get into some fighting here. Not MMA fighting. So I want to talk about hockey fighting. So fighting is allowed in hockey. I'm glad, over the last number of years, the refs have really been doing their best to try to limit the fighting. Even though I think that's a horrible idea, just based on the way, the hockey culture is. But there's been quite a lot of fights this year thus far. At least in the Ranger games that I've been watching. They had 3 fights in one game against the Bruins last week. But these hockey guys, and even people that are big fans of hockey, really talk up these fights. Like, big time. And I mean, they're crazy fights. They're hard fights. They're fucking skating on knives on the bottom of their feet, and they're fighting, and they have to balance, and it's crazy. And they're bare knuckles. Oftentimes, they don't take their helmets off, so they're punching helmets with their bare hands, and they're fucking really swinging. They're hard fights, without question. I saw something the other day. I think it was Bill Burr was talking about on his podcast. He was talking about some guy in one season had 27 fights or something like that. And he did the math, and he's like, that's one bare knuckle fight every 4 days for an 8-month season, or whatever the fuck it was. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was a crazy amount of fights. But when you look at a hockey fight, generally, I'm going to be generous with this here. A hockey fight will last maybe 30 seconds. From when the gloves drop to when, they're fucking, if they fall to the floor, the refs step in. They don't balance that long. They're pushing and shoving each other and throwing punches, and they're fucking on skates. So they don't last that long. And mind you, lead hand usually grabs a jersey. So they're not doing much with that. And if your lead hand is holding, a lot of guys just kind of turn their head away. They're not getting hit all that often. Some guys get really fucked up, but it's really not all that often. And again, they last about 30 seconds. 20 fights. 30 seconds of fight. I think that's being generous for a hockey fight. That's about 10 minutes of fighting in a whole season. That's not even one full MMA fight. Hockey's a tough sport. The fights are tough. They're bare knuckle. They're hard. Not taking that away from them. But let's settle down on who the fuck do you know that fights that much? Every MMA fighter ever? 10 minutes in a whole season. Frankie Edgar has fought 7.5 hours in his career. He's got by far the most cage time in the UFC history. He's closing in on 8 hours of fight time. Let's settle down on this guy that's fought 10 minutes in the last year, okay? Let's take it easy. So I want to talk some shit here. I talked about Rough and Rowdy recently. And the last event, I don't remember if I talked about this specific guy, but the last event, forget his name. He has "I eat ass" tattooed or written across his chest. If it is a tattoo, he needs a new tattoo artist. Let's just put it that way. It looks like an 8-year-old drew it with a Sharpie. He is on like all his promo videos are like, you know, he eats ass, he does this and that, blah blah blah, what the fuck ever. He's pretty good. He's won a couple of fights on Rough and Rowdy. He's definitely taken a boxing class in his life, maybe 2 or 3. So I reached out to him on Instagram because I wanted to know if Rough and Rowdy counts as a pro fight. And how it's sanctioned and all that kind of stuff. And according to him, it's not actually a pro fight. And then I said to him, hey, I've been eating ass for about a decade. Let's talk some shit to each other. Let's get something going on the internet here. And let's fight for the ass-eating Rough and Rowdy belt. And he just didn't respond. That is great marketing. Don't fuck this up, kid. I'm going to post this clip on Instagram and I'm going to tag you in it. And then we're going to try and fight on the next Rough and Rowdy show for the ass-eating belt. Dave Portnoy. This is big stuff. Butt Stuff 2021. Let's go. So, UFC event. This past weekend, UFC 258, I believe it was. The card was really weak. Both before the card, the fight card was really weak. It delivered a lot of great fights. It was a weak card. So anything of Anthony Hernandez. I fucking love that guy. I don't know if he's ever fought at welterweight. I'm going to look at his Wikipedia right now. It appears not. But he did look like he could lose some weight. Not that he was fat, but he didn't have a six-pack. Let's just put it that way. But he fought undefeated, up-and-comer, multiple-time ADCC champion Rodolfo Vieira, who is a fucking animal. 7-0, 6 submissions, 1 knockout. Goes in there. This kid, Anthony Hernandez, purple belt in jiu-jitsu. Gets taken down, stays calm, avoids all trouble. End of the first round, Rodolfo Vieira, I think it is. Done. One of the most tired I've ever seen anybody after any round, let alone one round. Anthony Hernandez goes out there at second round, just starts piecing him up on the feet. And the guy keeps going for takedowns, trying to slow the pace down. And as I'm watching, I go, this guy he doesn't want to knock this guy. He wants to submit this guy bad. Because the guy kept, shooting for takedowns and he kept, going for stuff. I go, this kid is gonna, he wants to choke this guy. And based on how exhausted he is, looks like he might get it. And it was crazy. During that fight, when I watch fights, I go fucking crazy. I get really into it. I will yell at the television as if I'm in their corner. The most underused technique in MMA is the elbow. If you were watching a fight with me and you were playing a drinking game, every time Tom yells for a fighter to throw an elbow, take a shot, you would be dead by the end of the night. Anthony Hernandez threw elbows properly at the right time in the right spot, and it was perfect. In the clinch, pulling the hand down, elbow over the top. Opposite hand, pulling the hand down, elbow over the top. It was awesome. And every time I was yelling elbow, boom, elbow thrown. And then at one point, he landed a head kick. They were in the clinch. He threw an elbow, threw a couple dirty boxing punches. They left the clinch, and I yelled, "Head kick!" Boom! There comes the head kick. It was one of my favorite fights that I've ever seen, just because a purple belt submitted a world champion, and as I was calling out strikes as if I was in his corner, he was throwing them. It was so fucking awesome. I loved it. Loved every second of that fight. And a lot of that is from Mike Burke. He stresses so hard, one, elbows, especially when we discuss MMA. He totally agrees, super underutilized tool. But he also, even in Muay Thai, when you leave the clinch. Because often people's hands are down because they think, we're separating, we're good. People will relax their hands. Come up high. He emphasizes it so hard. So when they left the clinch, I said head kick. He threw the head kick. He fucking heard every word I said, and I loved it. It was fucking awesome. And then the very next fight, first fight on the pay-per-view. This whole fight pissed me off. Julian Marquez and Maki Pitolo. So Julian Marquez, he had an injury. He'd taken a couple years off. And he does a podcast with Kendra Lust, adult film star Kendra Lust. They have a podcast called Beauty and the Beast. I don't listen to it, but it is a podcast that they do. That fight really pissed me off. After the fight before, put me in a real good mood. Anthony Hernandez, real good mood. Julian Marquez that whole fight pissed me off. So I might have these rounds mixed up, but after the first round, James Krause, who I love, huge fan of James Krause. He says to Julian Marquez, his hands are I don't remember exactly what he said, but he said, his hands are open. You got to throw that right hand down the pipe. Right hand, straight right down the pipe. It's there for you. You got to throw it. He starts the second round with 3 lead hooks. He didn't even throw the right hand. He didn't throw the right punch or the right hand. He threw left hooks when his corner just told him, come out and throw right hands down the pipe. He came out and threw left hooks. Did you forget already? The round just started. And then, second round. I don't know the scorecards, but I would imagine Marquez is down 2-0. James Krause is in his corner telling him, he's broken. You need to go out there and finish this fight. How? As a cornerman, you got to tell him how. You can't just tell him, you got to go finish the fight. Yeah, no shit. What do you think I've been trying to do the last 10 minutes? Give me specific. How do I do that? You're Mike. Tell me how to go out there and finish this fight. I mean, it worked. He did go out and he finished the fight. But that kind of corner advice is horrific, and I hate hearing it. When you watch, what the fuck's his name? Trevor Whitman. When you watch Trevor Whitman, he's in the corner with Justin Gaethje against Tony Ferguson. He says, "Hey, stop trying to kill him. You're throwing too much into every punch. Take a little bit off your punches. Stay sharp. He's gonna roll at your legs. Keep him at a distance with your jab. Stay sharp." Gives him exact specifics of what to do in the next round. Not just go out there and finish him. Trevor Whitman is the gold standard for corner work. I love when his fighters fight. I love hearing him in the corner. And then we had 3 decisions in a row. But I want to talk about Alexa Grasso. So Alexa Grasso fought and beat Macy Barber. Macy Barber, could take her, leave her. I don't love her. I don't hate her. She's a bit annoying, but she's confident in herself. That's not a bad thing. It just annoys me sometimes. But I appreciate the confidence. So Alexa Grasso goes out there and beats her. She's got great hands. And she showed some grappling skills, which is a new skill for her. Then Monday comes. Daniel Cormier is doing Ariel and DC and Ariel. I forget the name of their show. I listened to it, but I forget the name of it. DC and Helwani, that's what it's called. He goes out and says Alexa Grasso has the best pure boxing in women's MMA. That's fucking absolutely nuts. First of all, the number one female pound-for-pound boxer just signed an MMA contract. Clarissa Shields is in MMA right now. She hasn't had an MMA fight, but she is actively an MMA fighter. So let's slow that roll, all right, DC. And also, in the UFC, there is a woman in the UFC who fought for a title several times, 2 different weight classes, won a title, and one of them has won something like 17 world title fights in boxing. Let's slow down on the Alexa Grassos. I could probably name 10 girls off the top of my head right now who would beat her in a boxing fight. Excellent boxing skills, for sure. Best woman boxer in female MMA across the board. Slow the fuck down, buddy. And then we move to the main event, Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns. Great fight. Gilbert Burns definitely blew his load, I think. He hurt Usman and didn't capitalize on it. And I want to talk about Usman's jab. I'm going to see if I can find a video of it to place over the YouTube here. Everybody was talking about how great Usman's jab was, how great it was, how it's quick. I'll give him that. Every jab he threw, he was swimming it. He throws his jab, and then his arm is swimming down to his waist to get back up to his chin. I mean, he's the fucking world champ, so who the fuck am I? But it's definitely quick. That's what he dropped him with. It fucking worked. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But, I mean, he got dropped in the first round by an overhand right. I would have to go back and watch the moment that it happened, but I would imagine Gilbert Burns overshot one of those jabs that he swam. Swam? I'm not smart. Why? I'm not smart. And the Usman GOAT talks. We got to slow it down. He's won 13 in a row, which is the most in that weight class as far as wins in a row. Like, oh, he passed GSP's win record. GSP won 12 in a row. I want to say all of them were title fights, or at least. So I don't know. I'm gonna look up what his win streak was, because I think it happened after he lost the belt to Matt Serra. Because then he got it back, and that's when he never lost it. Because he had won it against Matt Hughes, he'd lost it to Matt Serra, and then he won 12 in a row after that. Won 13 in a row, I guess. One of which being at middleweight. So he lost to Matt Serra. Then he beat Josh Koscheck. He won the interim title, and then unified it against Matt Serra. And then from there on out, all title fights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And they're all against names that all of you should know if you watch MMA. Josh Koscheck, Matt Hughes, Matt Serra, John Fitch, BJ Penn, Thiago Alves, Dan Hardy, Josh Koscheck again, Jake Shields, Carlos Condit, Nick Diaz, Johnny Hendricks, and then took 4 years off, came back, beat Michael Bisping. Now, I'm not saying that winning 13 fights in a row in the UFC, what he did is not impressive. But I mean, if we look at his wins, we got Hader Hassan. Then he beat Leon Edwards. Top guy. But then he beat Alexander Yakovlev, Warley Alves, Sean Strickland, Sergio Moraes, Emil Meek. I mean, I'm a huge UFC fan. I don't know most of those names. I think Sean Strickland's the guy that just came back after a motorcycle accident and had a good performance. I think that's who that was. Alexander Yakovlev, no idea. Warley Alves, the only reason I know that name is because he beat Colby Covington. Sergio Moraes, no idea. Emil Meek, the name sounds familiar, but couldn't tell you anybody he's fought. I mean, definitely impressive winning that many in a row, but let's slow the GOAT talks down, all right? He's going to have to fight Colby again, for sure. He's going to have to fight Leon Edwards again. I mean, 170 is a tough division. He's definitely on his way to being in those GOAT talks somewhere down the line. He's had 3 title defenses. GSP, what did I just had? 10? Relax. And I don't think any of those 10, I think the only close fight that GSP had in those 10 was Johnny Hendricks, which I thought he lost that fight, if I'm being completely honest. But all the other fights were not fucking close. And there was a lot of decisions in a row, but they were not close. So I don't know exactly what the scores were. I'm sure I could go through and figure them out. But I'd be shocked if he had any 48-47s in there. I would be shocked. Dan Hardy, 50-43. Josh Koscheck, 2. UFC 124, 50-45. Like, he dominated everybody. Usman, let's see. So against Masvidal, one judge thought Masvidal won the first round. And again, that was a fight on 6 days' notice. Colby Covington was even. He would have won that fight by 1 round. Had that fight not been stopped. The cards officially going into the 5th round were 3-1 Usman, 3-1 Colby, and 2-2. So it was dead even. And then had he not, he would have won the 5th round, but it was a close fight. So let's take it easy on the GOAT talks. He's got a long ways to go. But again, congrats to him. I don't know who he's going to be fighting next. Wonderboy put his foot in there and said, I'm the only one in the top 5 you haven't fought yet. It's an interesting style. I'd like to see it. I like Wonderboy. I want good things to happen to him. Wonderboy Thompson, because I know he just put on a good performance against Jeff Neal, but I feel like before that he hadn't done fantastic. Vicente Luque, and then before that he had the skids. Is Vicente Luque ranked? Is he up there? Because he's a fucking savage. That guy is violent. Let me see what his rankings are. 170. Oh, they got him ranked 10th. Wow. Michael Chiesa's up and coming in that weight class. It's a tough weight class. You got Chimaev coming up. Bilal Muhammad had another great win. I'm looking forward to see what Usman can do moving forward. But let's slow the GOAT talks down. I'm not going to watch this weekend's fight just because work has been super slow this week and the last 2 weeks, especially with the fucking snow coming up. So Saturday I'm going to go to jiu-jitsu in the morning, and then I'm going to work at night. What the fuck? I guess I'll listen to it on my phone, but I'm not going to watch it. I think the only fight I'm interested in is the main event, but I mean, Curtis Blades is just going to wrestle fuck him. I mean, it's possible that Derek Lewis can stick him, can catch him, but I think Derek Lewis has the most knockouts in heavyweight history. It's definitely possible that he could clip him, but other than that, I mean, Alexei Oleinik is fighting. I always like him because I'm a big Ezekiel choke guy, but really lackluster card. It is a free card, so I guess that's why. But I'll probably just listen. I'm not going to watch. But because it's been slow, I don't have all that many Uber stories. I do have them. I do have 2. But they're not as crazy as they've been in the past. So I go to McDonald's the other day, and I'm waiting for an order. Surprise. There's a guy also waiting there for an order, not an Uber driver, just a regular guy. And he says to me, how much you make doing that? which I think is a fucking semi-rude question to ask, especially a stranger. Like, you just walk up to a stranger, hey, what's your financial situation? Like, what? Who the fuck are you? And I was like, it really depends on the day. We're going into it, blah, blah, blah. And then, he's like, oh, I've been thinking about doing it on the side, just trying to make some extra money, blah, blah, blah. I was like, as a side gig to make some extra money, I'd say it's definitely worth it, whatever. And then he asked me if they take taxes out. I said, no, you gotta pay that on your own, so you gotta make sure you put money away. And he looks at me and he looks at me dead in the face, like squints his eyes like he's fucking 007. And he's like, you putting money away for taxes? And I go, yeah. I mean, I literally just told him you got to put money away for taxes because they don't take it out. And he looks at me and goes, you putting money away for taxes? I go, yeah. And then he gets closer. He leans in and he goes, you're not putting away enough. I'm like, what? And he's like, you know however much money you put away for taxes? I'll tell you right now, you're not putting enough away. I'm like, why do you say that? He goes, my brother-in-law used to have a trucking business, and I worked for him. They didn't take taxes out either. I got fucking slammed come tax time. I was like, yeah, I've been putting away a pretty good percentage of my income. And he's like, not enough. I'm like, what percentage, what tax bracket you think I'm going to fall in where I'm not saving enough? I'm probably putting like, let's see, how much I made last year compared to how much I have in my bank account currently. I'd say I'm probably putting 40 to 45% of my income into my savings account. If I fall under the over 45% tax bracket, then yeah, I'm fucked. But I think I'm okay. I didn't say this to him, but I'm like, all right, buddy, I think I'm okay. But this guy leaned in and he's like, you're not putting enough away. I'm like, okay, you fucking weirdo. Step away. COVID's a thing. Get your fucking fat cheeks out of my face. Only other Uber story from this week. Again, it's been slow. Haven't worked all that much because of the weather, which is one of the downfalls of this job, especially in the winter. When it snows, when I have a fucking Toyota Corolla, can't really drive in the snow. But, so I go to Wendy's, who by far has the dumbest employees. No offense if any Wendy's people are listening, but I mean, not you. But the amount of times that I'll go to a Wendy's window and they'll say to me, they'll tell me how much I have to pay, and then they get confused when I tell them that it's already paid for. Like, they don't understand the concept of delivering food, whatever. So this time, I go to the window, I tell them, hey, I'm here for Uber, this is the name. So I get to the counter, like I get to the second window, which is where you also pay for your food. Like that, maybe it was just this day, but the first window wasn't open. So I went to the second window. Window opens, they hand me the bag, and I drive off. And something in my head told me to check the order. I don't normally check the order, but I checked the order, and I'm like, they had a relatively big order. She handed me one bag, and I look inside. It was fries. It was like fries and nuggets. I'm like, this isn't fucking right. So I pull into the parking lot, and mind you, between the drive-through, like the microphone where you place your order and the second window, it's not like there's a dozen cars so you lose track of who's where. There's two cars in front of me. There's me, there's one car stuck at the first window waiting to get to the second window, and then there's a car at the second window. So you gotta know this Uber order's one of the next few, so ask when you get to the window. So I park, and then I go inside, and I say to the woman, like, hey, I just went through the drive-through through the window, and you gave me food, but it's not the Uber order. And the woman looks at me. I don't know who she was. I think she was the manager. I'm not positive. She looks at me and goes, "Why didn't you fucking tell me you were the Uber guy?" I go, what? She goes, when you got to the window, why didn't you fucking tell me that you were the Uber guy? I'm like, I told you at the microphone 2 cars earlier. Like, are you serious right now? Like, these fucking fast food workers are getting antsy. Hey, Wendy's, McDonald's, Burger King, pay your employees more. I'm sick of getting cursed off because they're stressed out. You pay them fucking dick, all right? Jesus. I mean, I've had shitty jobs before where you get paid bullshit. I don't think I've ever cursed I mean, I've been a dickhead to customers before when I was 17. You're a grown-ass woman, and Calvin from McDonald's last week, you're a grown-ass man. Keep your emotions in check when dealing with customers. Because one of these days, I'm going to stop going to therapy, and I'm eventually going to get back down in the dark hole I was in before, and I'm going to put you through a fucking window. All right, Calvin? These people are getting balls just cursing off customers. Why would you not think to say that, like, are you the Uber? Just hand food out the window without asking who. And again, if you were just handing food out the window without asking them to pay for it, what the fuck was happening there anyway? All right. I put some a status on Facebook to get some questions. I also put one on Instagram, but people usually don't send in questions on Instagram. Question from I don't want to say her name, but she helped me. I think I said her name actually already in the past because of this reason, but she had asked me. She had convinced me to start going to therapy. So she was the reason, not the reason, but she she gave me the resources to help me find the guy that I'm going to now. So her question was, how are you taking care of yourself in the pandemic? Mental health check-in. So thank you for checking in. Still struggling. Definitely doing better. I've only had 3 therapy sessions thus far, but I definitely am seeing an improvement. Slight, but taking it week by week, as per usual. Doing the best I can, and I'm looking forward to continue working with this guy. And I hope as the weeks go on, the first couple of weeks we kind of just been getting into the way I'm feeling and why I'm feeling that way. And then he said, as we move forward, we're going to talk into, some strategies to help fix the way I'm feeling, and kind of just make me feel better in general. But just talking to somebody that I don't previously know, that doesn't already have, preconceived notions about me and my life, is helpful. Because, he's not, one of those yes men, fucking therapists. He tells me when I'm being a fucking idiot. So he's super helpful. And yeah, so I'm trying. I'm struggling, but I'm trying. But thank you for asking. And I think that was the only one I had on Instagram, right? Yeah. And then I had a couple on Facebook a couple hours ago when I posted it. Let's see if I got any more. So Kendrick said, your opinion on Usman being the welterweight GOAT. I already discussed that earlier. My buddy Juice, fighting with myself, is coming back. He got himself a co-host, and it's not me, and I'm pretty sad about it. But I'm looking forward to see who we got. And actually, did he post an episode? He used to record on Sundays. I didn't see him post about it on Facebook or Instagram. But fighting with myself, it's now called Friendly Sparring. So yes, he did release one on Sunday. I didn't see it. I'm sorry, Juice. But you didn't post about it. And if you did, I didn't see it. I'm going to scroll through your Facebook right now. Yes, you did not post it on Facebook. So it's not my fault I didn't see it. But I just saw it now. I will listen to it for sure. He said, why is GSP better than everyone? That's a fucking hard question. I mean, he's good all around. He wrestles people because he's good at striking, and he's able to strike with people because he's good at wrestling. He knows how to mix things up. And he's just a fucking hard worker. I mean, even in retirement, you follow his Instagram. He never stops working out. He's just the best. Would you rather drink a gallon of honey or sriracha? I don't know. What the fuck is sriracha? I don't know what that is. Sriracha. Hoi Fong Foods? Like hot sauce? Oh, it's hot sauce? No, I'll drink a gallon of honey. Would you let Amanda Nunes peg you? If not, who? No, I would not. I'd like her to put me in an armbar, though. I'd let my girlfriend peg me, and that's about it. She's afraid to do it, though. Battery's about to die, so if we can get 2 episodes in a row on one battery, that would be epic. Chuck Schumer, pay me, you fucking dirty son of a bitch. And Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.